Plan D. It's called Plan D because it's plan desperation. We will probably go for somebody that Ten Hag doesn't want if we don't get De Jong, because Man United have made it very clear for the last 3 months publicly that this summer was a big summer, that this is a new United. In January, they said they didn't spend because they were keeping money back for the new manager in the summer. What a load of nonsense. They flew to Barcelona, Murta and Arnold, and got pictured there. They've consistently put it out there that they're putting other deals on the back burner to work on the De Jong deal. They've gone more than balls deep on this. They've gone feet deep in this De Jong deal. And if it doesn't happen, I'm sorry, there's many permutations as to who's to blame. But the reality is, this would be worse than anything Woodward and Judge did. This would be shambolic. The season starts in 3 days' time, and we don't have a midfield. In fact, we've got McTominay and Fred. And people want to talk about Ronaldo wanting to leave being a bad thing. Funny thing is, this morning's show was going to be about some information we've had around the Ronaldo situation at United, which is pretty explosive in itself. Effectively, conspiracy theory or not, United do want Ronaldo to go. It's just a public facade. And actually, there's a lot of problems behind the scenes at United, which we were going to be talking about this morning, which we will talk about this morning, but we've got to lead on the Frenkie de Jong story. Suffice to say, United, behind the smiles, is disintegrating this summer. It's a mess. It's a shambles. People are still smiling, but it's an absolute mess. We'll talk about that in a bit. We'll also talk about this new share scheme that the Manchester United Supporters Trust is working on. Is it a good thing, a bad thing? We'll talk about that. But unfortunately, the big headline this morning, welcome to the Members Club, Ethan, is, and we can't avoid it, the big story this morning is this. It's coming in from David Ornstein, arguably the best source for transfer news this summer transfer window 2022. When he talks, people listen. Chelsea are in talks with Barcelona for Frenkie de Jong and hope to strike a deal. There's also further information coming out that Barcelona would do a deal with Chelsea for 80 million euros. Our deal is 85 million euros. Chelsea will get him for 80 million euros. Why are Chelsea getting a better deal out of Barcelona when we've sat there like a bunch of prats for 3 months waiting for Barcelona to pay De Jong so we can get him to us? Why are Barcelona mugging us off? Because Barcelona are a muggy club, basically. I'm not talking about their fans, I'm not talking about their players, I'm talking about Barcelona and the way they've acted this summer is muggy. Bayern Munich would agree with it, Chelsea would agree with it, Arsenal would agree with it. Most people would agree that Barcelona have been very muggy. You can't trust Barcelona. And Man United stupidly think they've got a good relationship with Barcelona and have trusted Barcelona. And they never should have done that. Why would Chelsea get Frenkie de Jong cheaper than us? Because Barcelona want Alonso and Azpilicueta. And this is where we're in trouble. Because Barcelona don't want anything from us. They just wanted money. And as soon as somebody else came in with money, they'll do a deal with them if there's more they can get out of it. Well, they can get Azpilicueta and Alonso and do a little bit of a discount for De Jong. We're absolutely screwed in that situation. Barcelona will sell to who they want to sell to, and Chelsea are a more attractive sale than us because they want Azpilicueta and they want Alonso, and that's what, they've already done business with them. So we're in a really difficult situation here. A lot of people in the chat are saying, why are you not losing your crap? Because as much as it's obvious that Chelsea are negotiating with De Jong, I'm still lost in hope. It's blind faith at this point, but I'm still lost in the facts. And it is a fact that every journalist close to United will tell you this summer that the club have consistently said they remain confident and relaxed about the situation with De Jong. When people were saying to them in the middle of June, pre-season starts in 2 weeks, you've still not sorted your midfield, the message coming out was, we're confident in what we're doing. We're not going to be held to ridiculous targets because we've took dividends or because pre-season starts. We're confident that we'll get what we want in the end. Couple that with the pub talk with Richard Arnold, the money's there to get the manager what he wants. We're confident we're having a good summer. Coupled with the fact that they quite openly let it be put out there that they weren't doing deals for Martinez and Anthony and anybody else before they sorted the De Jong deal. Obviously they had to panic and do that in early July with a couple of deals. They flew to Barcelona. They've absolutely made it very clear that this is what their summer's all about. This summer transfer window, this big summer transfer window for United, they've made it very clear that Frenkie de Jong is the focal point and the pivot and everything about this summer transfer window. So as a United fan, you've got every right before you get angry to say, hold on a minute, I won't get angry until he's holding up a Chelsea shirt, because I'm still lost in this story that this is the player that we've spent all summer on, and this is the player that we're going to build a team game. Probably not the Brentford game, maybe not at all. But I'm not getting angry yet, because I'm still... there will be an anger, there will be a frustration, but right now, I'm still lost on the flight to Barcelona, the whole summer being about this one player. I think actually getting angry with the club at this point lets them off the hook. I'm actually going to go along with their game for a bit. Until he holds a Chelsea shirt up, or until he holds a United shirt up, I'm going to go along with the game that, no, this United know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They know they've embarrassed themselves in front of everybody, but this is 3 months on a player that we're clearly getting, because if you don't get him, you go down as Dumb and Dumber, Murta, Arnold and the Glazers. Dumb and Dumberer. Like, you cannot do this to a fan base. You cannot just go into a season with a new manager and say everything's fine and not actually do anything. So I still remain convinced that Manchester United, stupidly probably, that Manchester United have got... Because the plan cannot be to sit here all summer begging De Jong and doing nothing else. And if that's the plan, then Ten Hag's got to take blame. Richard Arnold's got to take the blame. The Glazers have got to take the blame, because it's a collective blame. To not have a plan B, to not try and negotiate harder. Morning, Mark. I was trying to be quietly optimistic about this season, but I'm starting to get worried, says Justin. Well, wait till you hear what I've got to say about Ronaldo. Clinton, Mohammed, welcome to the Members Club. This is going to give me flashbacks to 2021 when we spent all the time trying to get Sancho, says NTX. United are creating more sagas than the Vikings did around their campfires, says Ginger. Are you still 90% on De Jong, or does that have to come down now after the Chelsea news, says Gwydion? Well, look, logically you have to bring it down, but I haven't heard anything other than David Ornstein say, well, look, we'll talk about that in a minute. It's a good point. At one point, you said you're still 90% because there's no other club involved. If you're still 90%, you're delusional, says Michael. If De Jong goes to Chelsea, Ten Hag will be damaged. He has a relationship with Timber, who stays at Ajax. Same with De Jong, goes to Chelsea. Come on. I mean, that's a bloody good point, Remy, really. You know, Timber owes a lot to Ten Hag and decides to stay at Ajax. Ten Hag apparently has a relationship with De Jong and he snubs him for Chelsea. I mean, it's not looking good. Those things can damage you before a ball's been kicked. I'm a massive fan of Ten Hag, but I do think that this transfer window is a catastrophe. Confident or naive, further proof of how amateur our leadership is, says Mark Callaghan. I want to be angry, but I won't because I lose any feeling for United. Frankie de Jong is gone, says Jay. Well, look, just going back to the transfer window very, very quickly. Jack says Chelsea new owners are performing a rebuild, which they are. I mean, I want to talk about that. There's a very, very good point there from Jack about Chelsea's rebuild, because it is a very, very strong rebuild, and you know, Jack basically saying United are doing sod all. For me, this doesn't change anything. Barcelona can negotiate with everyone. Ultimately comes down to Frankie. Let's just hope Ten Hag has some pull. Carl, I want to talk about that. Getting rid of Ranić was a mistake. Yeah, I always said that. We were doing much better prepared without Ranić. How people can think that getting rid of Ranić was a good idea when you've witnessed the summer transfer window that we've had. One thing about Ranić is he knows how to do transfers and he knows the European market. And, you know, basically we sacked Ranić to rely on Murta and Arnold. Jason, thank you very much.